Thank you for joining us on From the Dust with our host, Sara Decker, as she and Joseph help us understand that we can talk to spirits and ancestors as well. We can do it too. It will come and it will get easier.
And, having our conversations with Moroni and with my daughter and my ancestor and Matthew, when we got back, my son was, he's young. He's still 9. He's not 10 yet. And he's a little restless at times. And, so we just thought like, oh, let's just let him sit in the car and give him the phone. And, he hasn't talked at this point. He hasn't seen his grandmother for a week. So he's on the phone talking to her, and he loves birding. So that picture was with birding binoculars, and we're out there birding all the time. So telling her what birds we've seen, because now we're in a different area. And I think we saw almost 100 birds on that trip, and a lot that we don't get to see in California. But he said, when we got back into the car later, he said, Dad, who was that man? And we're like, what are you talking about? He says, who was that man standing next to Jeff at the table? And my heart just kind of dropped, because I realized like he saw Moroni. The man standing next to Jeff was where we all said that Moroni was standing. And my son was able to look at that and see him. I'm so proud of him to be able to see that. I'm sad that I'm not able to see it. I was closer than he was. He saw him from, a good 50 yards away. But they're there. We can see them. They are there. We just don't know that we can see them. We don't know some of this stuff, and we tune it out. Quite possibly we've seen lots of different people that are in spirits, and we've just walked right past them and not realized. We may have had interactions straight with them and just not known. But that is available to us.
You're listening to another episode of From the Dust with Sara Decker, a place to explore spiritual experiences and topics. And no, we are never alone.
I think that's so beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. I think it illustrates something that I have found in learning to go on the way and embracing my spiritual gifts and what my spiritual gifts maybe are not, is that I found the beauty in the fellowship of the love for other people's spiritual gifts, and that we don't all have the same ones. And that's beautiful, because if I just could do everything on my own, I'd probably be a bit egotistical, and I wouldn't really need the deep relationships that I form with others the same way. I am so grateful that my mother can see and I can hear better, because guess what? We have a beautiful relationship as we just talk to these people, because she comes out of those experiences with different impressions and different knowledge than I come out of that experience. Because I'll hear their words, and then once we're done talking, or once I'm done being the voice, I'll explain to her how it felt. I'm like, during that one part where they were explaining this is what it meant. Like, this is kind of how it felt, and I just wanted to clarify that. It was such an incredible thing. And she'll say, oh, so they were wearing, this is how he was dressed, or she'll have something else to add that I don't have to add, because I don't have that same gift. And so I've been in circles where there's 5 or 6 different people, all with different gifts. And it becomes a very enriching experience when everyone is in that circle and they're all sharing. And you get to have this experience together with immersed in it, because you get all the different gifts from all the different people. It's just really beautiful. And I think that as a people, if we are more willing to receive and respect and love the spiritual gifts that other people have, it'll be so enriching. Right now in our society, we're so worried about who's the electrician and who's the, who's this and who's that, and our roles in society. But if you look at a spiritual society, I think the roles are so exciting and fun to ponder. Some people have gifts with the elements, maybe. Some people have gifts with hearing the earth, hearing the voices of, plants or the earth or whatever it may be. They may receive visions. They may receive inspired dreams or revelations in other ways. One thing I love about the Moronihah people is they talk about how there's so many diverse gifts, you couldn't name them all. There's so many. If you can think of it, it's probably one of the spiritual gifts. You know what I mean? If you can come up with it, it's probably one. And I just think it's really lovely to have that kind of faith. And if we can bring that kind of, someone put it a while back, if we can just dance with joy with everyone on their path. And I think that would be beautiful if we could see each other's spiritual gifts, appreciate each other for the part that we play in our society and for the connection that it offers us to the divine. What a beautiful world would that be if we stopped worrying about how we can help each other make money or bring money into our lives or those worldly concerns, and instead consider the worth of the spirit and of the growth and of those beautiful things that we could really experience together if more people were embracing this and moving on the way and reaching out to Christ themselves. I just think it would be just so incredible.
Yes, definitely. When you were saying that, it was making me think of something, and I wish I had the scripture up and ready to go. I'm pretty sure that it was from Moronihah in his other record in the Ayat Kuyat Nemenha. He was saying, I'm getting ready to die. Or whoever this was that was talking was saying, I'm getting ready to die. I'm getting ready to go. And it's not going to be that different. He says, I've been talking with them on the way for years. And I'm simply going to be on the way with them directly. He's going to be in their presence rather than just differently in their presence. But he's like, I've been talking with them for years. And that's, it's something that's available to us. And we can strive for it. And I love that, like I said, that Sarah's, willing to share this thing. Definitely it's her gift, but her being able to, or being willing to share her gift with us, it's something that we're all supposed to aspire to. All the Nemenha aspired to it. So I really just love that she's got the courage to be out there in the world and to put this forward for all of us to benefit from. And I thank you, Sara, for that so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for helping me be courageous. It's one thing to do it within my family. It's a whole different thing to have these kinds of experiences with people that aren't just my immediate family. And you were one of the first ones that I experienced that with. And it was a little intimidating, but of course it was beautiful. God was prepared and he was trying to help me expand my courage, my willingness to be more out of the closet with it, I guess, because it's one thing to do it at home and in my quiet and in my heart and have these things for myself and my family, but it's another thing to be so open with it. And I appreciate you being willing to come and talk to me about it today, because it helped me to kind of get over that hump of fear, because really this is something that's been on my heart for a while now. I was told a few months ago that eventually my experiences will probably be in a book one day or published in some way and shared, and that they're meant to be shared. And so that was really hard for me to accept that people were going to know that this is a part of my life. And it was a little scary. It's a very personal thing to share with the world. And so thanks for helping me overcome that fear.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a lot of fear with that. You never know how people are going to respond to it. And unfortunately, you're always going to have somebody that's going to be criticizing things. But that's not why you do it. You do it because you're sharing for those that are going to gain from that, and are going to value from that. We share without fear because of the positive things that we know are going to come on the other side of being willing to be vulnerable and being willing to put ourselves out there, speaking things that we know are true, regardless of the fact that somebody somewhere is going to object to it and talk bad about it and put you down for it. But you know that it's right. I know that it's right. I was shocked when you were like, there's a little girl here. She's your daughter, and immediately I knew who it was. And Sara didn't know who it was. And she's like, did you have a miscarriage? And I'm like, yeah, kind of, like, these are things that you can't fake this stuff. These is them on the other side. These are their messages to us. And she mentioned at the end, she's like, thank you for Jesus for letting me come. She's like, she wanted to come. She wanted me to let go of all the, let's see, what would you call it? The grief or the frustration that I had, to just let go of it. And at this point, I didn't even know that I was holding on to it. But I realized, like, no, I really have been holding on to it. But so thankful for it. Sara has made a huge difference in my life. And it's just because I haven't been at the point where I can go on the way and hear my daughter directly, and know that I'm getting all the right answers. But I'm working on that. I'm working on trying to do what she does. And, obviously it's not my gift, I don't think, but we can all work to get to that point, just like Moroni did. He didn't seem to sound like there was anything that he couldn't do on the way or communicate on the way. It was something that he eventually learned to do, and we can all learn to do that. And we just have to have the faith and the diligence to keep persisting at it and spending time doing it. It will come. It will come for all of us that, find it difficult at first. It will come, and it'll get easier. I know that.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. I really enjoy hearing the messages. They're not mine. I learn so much while I listen to what's coming out of my own mouth sometimes. I hear these messages and I'm like, they're so profound. Sometimes it's so emotional, it's hard to even speak them. Because they're so personal and so beautiful. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming, and even for me, to be the voice. And so I am just so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of such precious, sacred moments. People thank me, but I'm just so grateful. I thank the Lord. So he is good.
Thank you, Sara. Well, have we covered everything that you wanted to cover?
I have had a feeling about talking about, I know there are many sisters out there like me who don't have a male priesthood holder in their home. And that was a big concern for me many times. And, when you were talking about putting oil on and feeling and being blessed and anointed with oil and blessed with eyes to see and ears to hear, I've had that done to me a lot of times now. I mean, I don't even know how many times, probably 10 or more times. And it's done in spirit. And I want to explain this because so many people have such a closed view of what a priesthood blessing is, or who holds the priesthood, or what's possible, or whatever. So I want to share this with those who are thinking that maybe they can't receive some of these things because, sorry, I'm going to restate that sentence. I want to share this with people who may feel like they don't have full access to the heavens because they don't have priesthood in their home. And so the first time, one of the very first times that we went and received a message from these heavenly messengers, it was a group of women who came. And there was some men there, but they were there as witnesses, and they were there as protectors in spirit. We didn't have any men in the flesh there, but there was men in spirit there. And they were there to watch over us and to make sure all went well and to protect us from any fiery darts of the adversary, you could say. And at that time, we were encouraged to quietly ponder and pray over where we should put the oil. And this was oil that had been previously set apart for giving blessings. And it was actually a matriarchal oil. It wasn't the men's oil, to give priesthood blessings that we maybe are familiar with depending on your faith. I don't know, everyone who's watching this, their particular faith. But we had been inspired to purchase some olive oil, some organic, special, like kind of pure olive oil. And I was inspired about which one to choose on the shelf. And then I was inspired when I got home as to what oils, essential oils, I was to add to it, or herbs, depending on whatever you're inspired to do. You trust your inspiration, get clear about what it is you need to add, any of that. You take responsibility for this process, but I'm explaining it so that you can understand what we went through listening to the Spirit and having this experience without a male priesthood holder to guide it or anything like that. So we put these oils in with the olive oil, and then we were asked to bless it. And we, as sisters, bless this oil. And then there was a time where we were gathered and we were receiving instruction, and we had been inspired to bring that oil. And so we had this matriarchal oil as sisters at the time, we were inspired. We were told to place upon our bodies wherever we felt inspired, whether that was our eyes, our tongues, our ears, our heads, our hearts, our hands, whatever. And then in spirit, those sisters who were there teaching us stood and put their hands on our head and gave us a blessing. And I've had this happen to me a couple times, where there's someone comes and gives a message and they say they'd like to give me a blessing. And sometimes they'll have my mom put the oil on my head, and sometimes they'll have her be the voice, where she places her hands on my head and she knows that she's just the voice for their blessing. Sometimes they inspire her to give a blessing to me as a woman. Or sometimes I've had times where I'm given a blessing and there's no one else around except for those spirits. And so I then have to try to, I'm listening, and I have to try to record those things or speak it out loud. I've actually had it where I record it and I'm being given a blessing and I just speak into the phone the words that they're saying with their hands on my head, because no one else is around to do it for me. But God is. That's the thing, is there is people around. There's people who lived lives and are worthy and are wonderful and are righteous and are called and are chosen to come give us these blessings, even though they're on the other side of the veil. They are not dead, right? Their spirit lives on. Who they are lives on, and they're able to bless us. And so if you're feeling alone and like you can't have some of these blessings because there's not someone around to bless you, understand that angels, these heavenly messengers, are ready and waiting to step in and bless you and fill that gap, that you're not alone, that you can receive these blessings. And so I just encourage you to have faith and you are not alone, and just have the courage to take those little steps and to trust the Spirit's voice to guide you in your life.
Thank you so much, Sara.
Good courage. Welcome. Thank you so much again for doing this.
Oh, I appreciate you so much.
Everything.
Well, and hopefully I'm going to try to start sharing these. I haven't nailed down exactly how God wants me to do that, but I do feel like I'm meant to share some of these messages.
I have a feeling that someone will be brought to you. And we're going to be able to put all this together somehow.
Sounds good.
So we'll just keep praying for it.
I'm trying to be ready. I'm trying to be ready and willing. So it's a courageous thing. It's a difficult thing. It's not easy to walk the road with the Lord when he calls you to walk a different path than the world. You know, there's a reason it says that the path is narrow, and because not many people walk it, because it is difficult. It's like he knows what in your heart is the most difficult thing for you, and he's like, trust me, take my hand, we can do this together. And so it's not an easy path. It's not like it all comes smoothly. It makes perfect sense all the time. You're going to have lots of questions. You're going to have, sometimes it feels like just a few answers that you have to hold on to for months as you try to kind of work this all out. But you'll get there. Just keep remembering the things that the Spirit has witnessed to you and trust them and keep moving forward in faith. You'll make it. You're making it each step you take. You're on the path. So trust.
Perfect.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. And, when I asked you to do the interview today, I'm so grateful with how willing and ready you were to jump in and to create an outline and to come up with questions.
Thank you for being here. And don't forget to subscribe. God bless.